The mid-90s, R&B was beautiful but predictable. Smooth ballads, polished harmonies, love songs that you heard 100 times before. The sound was safe, familiar, and comfortable. And then came her, Aaliyah Dana Halton. Just 17 years old, walked to the studio with two relatively unknown names, Timbaland and Missy Elliott. What they made didn't sound like anything on the radio. It wasn't just R&B, it was alien. It was futuristic. It was hypnotic. Drums stuttered like broken machinery. Bass lines twisted like a slow storm. And Aaliyah's voice wasn't trying to overpower you. It floated. It invited you in. And then haunted you long after the song ended. When One in a Million dropped on August of 1996, it didn't just mark a new chapter in her career. It rewrote the sound of R&B for the next decade. This was more than music. This was a movement, a turning point, a prophecy. Today, we're going back track by track to see how Aaliyah, Timbaland, and Missy Elliott built an album that still feels like the future almost 30 years later. By 1996, Aaliyah was already a star, but she was at a crossroads. 2 years earlier, her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, introduced the world to her soft, mysterious voice and her signature tomboy style. However, that album was overshadowed due to her personal life and the controversy surrounding her relationship with R. Kelly. For a young artist in the spotlight, that could have been the end of the story. Instead, it became a turning point. Aaliyah split from Jive Records, ended her professional ties with R. Kelly, and signed with Atlantic Records. It was a clean slate, a new label, a new team, a new chapter. The challenge, however, how do you reinvent yourself at just 17 years old in an industry that's already judged you? The answer came in two names, Timothy Timbaland Mosley and Melissa Missy Elliott. Back then, Timbaland and Missy Elliott weren't just the superstars we know today. They were young, hungry, and ready to break the rules. Their sound, wild drum patterns, unconventional rhythms, and experimental layering didn't fit the polished R&B formula of the mid-90s. But that's exactly why Aaliyah wanted it. They didn't just want to make an album. They wanted to make a sound no one could copy. The first recording session took place in New York and Virginia, blending Aaliyah's cool delivery with Timbaland's off-kilter beats and Missy's pen game. From the very start, they were crafting something cinematic, something futuristic, something that wasn't chasing trends. It was creating them. And when the world finally heard it, it wouldn't just change Aaliyah's career. It would change R&B forever. The magic of One in a Million wasn't just in the songs, it was in the way those songs were built. Mid-90s R&B production was smooth and predictable. Clean snares, soft keyboard chords, familiar drum loops, but Timbaland, he came with something completely different. He treated rhythm like it was alive, stuttering drums that felt like they skipped a heartbeat, bass lines that pulsed instead of thumped, and soundproof from places that you couldn't quite identify. Missy Elliott's role was just as important. She wasn't just writing lyrics, she was injecting personality. Her pen game gave Aaliyah a new voice, confident, flirtatious, mysterious, and sometimes playfully cocky. Even when Aaliyah was singing about heartbreak, there was still strength in the delivery. And then there was Aaliyah herself, the glue that made it all work. Most singers would try to dominate Timbaland's beats, fighting to be heard over the production, but Aaliyah understood something deeper. You didn't fight the beat, you flow with it. She treated her voice like another instrument, slipping between the cracks in the rhythms, letting space and silence speak as much as the notes. Timbaland once said their goal was to make music that sounded like it came from the future. And listening now, over 25 years later, you realize they succeeded. Tracks like If Your Girl Only Knew or One in a Million didn't just sound fresh in 1996. They still sound futuristic today. This wasn't just a new sound for Aaliyah. This was the birth of a new era in R&B music. Every song on One in a Million feels intentional. There are no fillers, no throwaways. Each track serves as a purpose, whether it's to pull you into a groove, tell a story, or show a side of Aaliyah that you didn't know existed. Let's break it down. Start off with the intro track called The Beats for the Streets. The very first seconds tell you this is not your typical R&B album. Missy Elliott literally opens the record with spoken words over Timbaland's stripped down beat. It's like an announcement, a warning even, that you're about to hear something from the future. It's playful, confident, and sets the tone for everything that follows. Next is Hot Like Fire. This is pure Missy energy, flirty, teasing, and a little dangerous. Timbaland uses a hypnotic loop that almost feels tribal, layered with percussive clicks and snaps that make you move without realizing it. Aaliyah's delivery here is smooth but commanding. She's not asking for attention, she's demanding it. Next track, which is number 3, is One in a Million. The title track is where the magic crystallizes. The beat is slow, almost crawling, but it never drags, because every drum hit is perfectly placed. Timbaland's kick pattern stutter is like a heartbeat in love, and Aaliyah's voice just floats. The lyrics, co-written by Missy Elliott, are simple promise. This love is rare, and if you find it, you hold on to it. Track number 4, which is A Girl Like You, featuring Treach from Naughty by Nature. This one blends street energy with sultry R&B. Naughty by Nature's Treach brings a rugged edge, while Aaliyah's keeps her cool in the middle of the storm. It's a reminder that Aaliyah's music could shadow worlds, sweet enough for the radio, hard enough for the streets. Next track, which is number 5, is If Your Girl Only Knew. Probably the most instantly recognizable beat on the album. That bouncy bass line, those crispy snares, it's infectious. Lyrically, it's clever. Aaliyah flips the script on infidelity, calling out a guy who's trying to step out on his girl. There's sass, but never shouting, just pure control. It's one of those tracks that defined her attitude as much as the sound. Next track, number 6, Choosy Lover, old school, new school. This is where Aaliyah shows respect to the past while reinventing it. It's a remake of the Isley Brothers classic, split into 2 halves, one faithful to the original slow jam vibe, and one with a modern, Timbaland-driven groove. It's a nod to her roots, but also a statement. She could honor tradition while pushing boundaries. Track number 7, a cover of Marvin Gaye's funk classic, Gotta Give It Up. But it's with that unmistakable Aaliyah twist. It's looser, more playful. With Timbaland's adding subtle production flourishes, it's proof that she could step into a legendary song and make it feel like it's hers. Next track, number 8, is 4-Page Letter. If One in a Million has an emotional core, this might be it. The lyrics are intimate, a confession written like an actual letter. Timbaland's beat is slow and spacious, letting Aaliyah's voice take center stage. You can hear the vulnerability, the hesitation, and the hope in all in one performance. It's one of the most beloved songs in her catalog for a reason. Track number 9, Everything's Gonna Be Alright. One of the most underrated tracks on the album. There's a lightness in the production, shimmering synths, and airy percussion that pairs perfectly with Aaliyah's reassuring delivery. It's optimism without being cheesy, which is harder than it sounds. Track number 10, Giving You More. This track leans into a smoother, almost neo-soul vibe. It's romantic and laid back, the kind of song that sneaks up on you after a few listens. There's a quiet confidence in her delivery, a reoccurring theme on this album. Track number 11, I Got Your Back. Here, the loyalty theme comes through strong. It's about being there for someone no matter what, and Aaliyah sells it with sincerity. The production is stripped down, letting the words carry more weight. Track number 12, Never Giving Up, featuring Tavarius Polk, a duet that blends 2 very different vocal textures. Aaliyah's airy tone with Tavarius' more robust voice. It's a song about devotion, about sticking through the tough times, and it closes the album with a sense of commitment and warmth. Track number 13, Heartbroken. This is the ache of the album. The beat is stripped to essentials, kicks, hi-hats, and a soft melody line, so the emotion is harder. Aaliyah sings like she's holding back tears, and it's that restraint that makes it so powerful. Next is track number 14, Never Coming Back. A sharp, decisive breakup track. Timbaland adds bounce to the beat, making it feel like a victory march rather than a goodbye. It's liberation in song form. Track number 15, Ladies in the House, featuring Missy Elliott and Timbaland. This is pure fun. A club-ready track where Missy and Timbaland jump in with charisma and energy. It's lighthearted and cheeky. A chance for Aaliyah to loosen up and remind you that she could write a party track just as well as a ballad. Track number 16, The One I Gave My Heart To, the big ballad. Written by Diane Warren and produced by Guy Roach, it's the most traditional R&B song on the album. Lush, emotional, and vocally challenging. It shows that beyond the futuristic production, Aaliyah could absolutely soar over a classic love song arrangement. Track number 17, which is the last track, is called Came to Give Love. The credits roll. Timbaland closed the album with a short, bouncy groove, a reminder of the sonic world they created together. It's playful, quick, and leaves you wanting to hit repeat. Taken together, these 17 songs weren't just an album. They were a reintroduction. Aaliyah went from a teenage star with potential to a fully formed sound, and she did it by trusting a new creative families to push boundaries the rest of the industry didn't even see coming. When you strip away the production, what makes One in a Million unforgettable is how Aaliyah used her voice and what she chose to say with it. Aaliyah didn't sing like most R&B artists of the time. The 90s were full of powerhouse vocalists: Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige, who could belt and soar over big arrangements. Aaliyah went in the opposite direction. Her delivery was light, almost conversational, but deeply intentional. She didn't overpower the beat. She became a part of it. That restraint became a signature. She left space for the production to breathe, letting the smallest inflection carry emotion. On a song like One in a Million, she's barely raising her voice, yet you feel the intimacy. On If Your Girl Only Knew, her cool, amused tone makes the message sharper than if she were shouting it. Now, there are some clear forward themes in this album: love as rarity, empowerment and independence, vulnerability and confession, and playfulness and style. Starting off with number 1 as Love as Rarity. Tracks like One in a Million and The One I Gave My Heart To frame love as something rare, fragile, and worth protecting. Number 2, empowerment and independence. Songs like Never Coming Back and If Your Girl Only Knew show her in control, setting boundaries without bitterness. Number 3, vulnerability and confession. 4-page letter and Heartbroken revealed as openness that contrasts with the mysterious public image. Number 4, and the last one, is playfulness and style. Ladies in the House and Gotta Give It Up reminding us that she could have fun, still stay cool at the same time. It could be romantic without being overly sweet, sensual without being explicit, and confident without being aggressive. That balance made her music timeless and relatable, and paired with Timbaland and Missy Elliott's production, her voice became a blueprint for a whole new era of R&B music. You can hear that influence today in artists like SZA, her, Jane Akio, and Normani, all of whom use space and vibe the same way Aaliyah did here. When One in a Million dropped in 1996, it didn't just mark a step forward for Aaliyah, it moved the entire genre forward. Aaliyah's airy vocals, laced with Timbaland's and Missy Elliott's futuristic production, redefined what R&B could sound like. Before this album, mainstream R&B leaned heavily on traditional ballads, gospel-rooted belts, and live band instrumentation. After One in a Million, the rules changed. The beats got weirder, the spaces got quieter, and suddenly, being smooth, restrained, and mysterious became the new standard of cool. The impact of One in a Million was iconic and unforgettable. Beyonce has openly cited Aaliyah as an influence, especially in her early Destiny Child days. Drake's moody, minimalist approach to love songs carries her DNA. Artists like Ciara, Tinashe, and Normani embody her mix of dance-ready grooves and understand vocals. Now, tragically, Aaliyah's life was cut short in August of 2001 due to a plane crash. She was just 22 years old, but One in a Million ensures that her voice and the sound that she helped create will never fade. The album still feels modern nearly 30 years later, and that's the mark of a true classic. This wasn't just music, it was a movement, a cultural reset, and whether you realize it at the time or not, the sound of R&B today, the mood-driven, space-filled, vibe-heavy sound, can be traced right back to the day Aaliyah said, "You're one in a million."